Every time I hear of some G7 meeting, or G8 meeting, now it's G12 meetings, I get nervous because these are people meeting somewhere in the world in a closed room, debating and deciding the future of the world. And we are not present. Therefore, we become a victim of other people's decisions and their will. I don't trust the prime minister. I don't trust the president. I have no trust in a senator. I don't trust the congressman. I don't trust the parliamentarian. I don't trust none of y'all. I only trust the will of God. This is why God placed the future of the world in our hands, but he never wanted the world to be out of his will. I put it to you then, and write this down, that all nations are experiencing these major will changes. Let me give you a list very quickly. We are experiencing political confusion. We are experiencing constitutional revisions in every country. There are nations who are actually changing their constitutions. We are experiencing social transitions, ideological renovations. We are experiencing philosophical instability all over the world. We are experiencing moral manipulation. Values are vacillating. We're not sure what values are anymore. We are experiencing religious conflict. We are experiencing scientific change, technological advancement. We are experiencing economic independence. Can I use the word interdependence? And most dangerously, we are experiencing the redefinition of terms. We are redefining everything in the world. That's change. We are experimenting. How can a government sit and make a decision without any data? We cannot just follow emotions and what we call rights. What are we doing? We are experimenting. Let me tell you something about experimentation. The age of experimentation will always lead to guessing. Could you imagine? We are paying people to guess our future. Put it in. Let me say a little warning. Without change, there can be no improvement. We agree on that. But not all change is improvement. I put it to you that we must choose the change we desire. Now, I want to just warn us also as society and in your country that fools multiply when wise men are silent. Evil men succeed when righteous men do nothing. Darkness rules when light is absent. Hiding in your church buildings will destroy your country. Staying in your prayer meetings will corrupt your nation. You cannot expect change in your nation if you stay away from the nation. Impossible. Problems reign when solutions are ignored. Can I put it this way? And this is important. You cannot stop or avoid change, and you have two options in change. Either you become a victim of it or an agent of it. And we have to now decide which one we're going to be. Being a victim of change means you let other people decide for you. Being an agent of change means you involve yourself in the process to make sure that the change is what you desire. How many people are sitting in this room from so many countries where your government has passed laws you disagree with? Can you remember this as long as you live? An agent of change initiate the changes they want. If you don't be proactive, you're going to be reactive. We ain't supposed to react to life as kingdom citizens. We're supposed to decide life. We're supposed to be proactive. That's why Christ says, go into all the world and disciple the nations. Don't wait for them to disciple you. We're supposed to initiate the change, and therefore we will either be agents or victims. And that is why change is something we must get involved with. To advance and progress and develop, change is necessary. We agree? Yes. Oh, y'all missed the point. He said, I ain't got to win. I got to be able to say, I stood. I finished. What are you standing for? Let it be known on that force that you didn't compromise your convictions for nobody. No commander. You are always remembered for what you stood for, not for what you fell for. I want you to find someone in history who compromised, and I'll give you $25. History never remembers those who compromised. It remembers those who stood for a conviction. That's why we can't forget Martin Luther King. He said, put me in jail. That's why we can't forget Mr. Mahatma Gandhi. He said, put me in jail. That's why we can't forget Mr. Mandela. He said, put me in jail. What are you going to go to jail for? Conviction. Can I put it this way? If you're going to change something, make sure you don't change the original law. Change is impossible without an original reference. In other words, original reference is the original source or the original stake or the original point or the original law or the original principle. And you cannot touch the original. This whole generation we are living in every country, it's a generation of change. Everybody want to change stuff. And no one's questioning, saying, wait a minute, what are we changing from? Are we tampering with things that shouldn't be moved? This is the question. We have to deal with this question. In other words, we need to find what I call true north. Write it down. True north is the original state. True north. There has to be some standards. Don't confuse change with growth. Well, you know, Brother Myles, you know, our country need to advance. You ever heard that? We need to become more progressive. Remember those words? We need to become more liberal. The world is moving ahead. We are being left behind. Oh, I hate that statement. Yes, leave me in the right position. Go, 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 go. I would love to be left in the right position. Say it with me. I love to be left in the right position. In other words, leave me if you want to. I ain't going to leave right to be wrong. Y'all clap, man. Jesus, no. Don't you get it? I'm telling you something that they're doing right now. You're going to hear it all next week. They can keep telling you, we have to advance. We have to grow with the world community of nations. What are you talking about? They are growing into oblivion. They are growing into confusion. You want to grow with them? A house can never outgrow its foundation. No matter how many stories you put on top of it, it has to remain on the same foundation. Yeah. Humans can never outgrow oxygen, no matter how big you think you grow. In other words, there are some things you cannot outgrow. When you touch these laws, they don't die, you die. The lighthouse says, I ain't gonna die, you gonna die. We cannot change unless we know the lighthouse. Read out loud with me, please. Proverbs 22, verse 28. Read. Do not move an ancient boundary stone set by your ancestors. That's in the Bible. Don't touch the ancient stones. Another verse. Read. Jeremiah 16. Read. verse 6 verse 16, read. This is what the Lord says. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it. And you will find rest for your souls. But you say, we will not walk in it, God says. Look at that verse. Stand where? At the crossroads. Every country right now is at the crossroads with moral decisions, value decisions. We got economic decisions. And God says, look, you're at the crossroads. When you're at the crossroads, he says, ask for what? The ancient paths. Don't go forward. Go backward, he says. Connect yourself to what you left. You cannot outgrow the original. You know, this verse again, read Proverbs 22 verse 20, read. Do not move an ancient boundary stone set up by your forefathers. A different verse altogether. Notice your forefathers. We had our forefathers here 3 weeks ago on the stage. And they told us, why are you all touching the Constitution? Be careful, he says. You don't know what you have already. In it, see? Notice what it says. Paul said they will capture you by what? Philosophy. They ain't gonna quote no scripture, you know. They gonna philosophize you. That's a new word, right? they will come with reasonable arguments. Arguments like, well, you know that I have a right to choose my orientation. After all, I have a right to have my alternative lifestyle. See, I have an alternative one. So, you know, I choose the alternative one because I got alternative one. I want an alternative one. And they argue that. And when you listen to them, if you're not careful, you go, wow, that's deep. Read the Bible again. It says what? See to it. See to it means you watch out for that. Wake up, wake up, wake up. He said, don't let them do that to you. Oh boy. When you speak out against something, they get angry. But guess what? Tell your neighbor, see to it. See to it means say something in the discussion. In the office, everybody talking, and you sitting there quiet. Oh, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Shut up and say something. Tell them that ain't right, that's wrong. Oh, Lord. Say it, see to it. See to it means you see to it. You make sure you tell them, I don't believe that. There's no time to be nice. It's time to be right. Yeah? You know what I mean, Doc? Yeah. We can't just sit by and let them come this long discussion. You know, and the thing is, they like talk plenty. And they stand up very intellectually, philosophically, with well suits, dressed real nice and, you know, clothes and stuff. Hallelujah. You know, they say, hey, I see into it. I present and I see into it. When you finish talking, I'm going to talk. Deceptive means it's going to sound so good, it can deceive you. But it's based on what? Worldly principles.